I'd like to introduce Kate from the United States, who takes LDN for multiple sclerosis. Thank you for joining me, Kate.
Hello.
Could you tell me when you were diagnosed with MS?
2004.
And how old were you at the time?
54.
What impact did being diagnosed have on you and your family?
I lost the ability to farmstead, run my own consignment business, put up my own food with our self-subsistent farmstead, etc. We skipped number 3.
Okay. What was your life like before you were diagnosed?
I was very physically active and very healthy. I never hardly ever been to a doctor. Never been sick. Didn't even get colds or flus or anything.
And what were your symptoms that led to diagnosis?
I ended up in a wheelchair with a back problem I'd been struggling with for quite some time. I'd been to a physical therapist for quite a while. We didn't have any symptoms. I'd been to a doctor as well. I didn't have any symptoms at all that led us to think that I had MS, and we still don't have any symptoms at that time that anybody thought was MS. We don't have any way to delineate anything that, looking back on it now, that made us think that.
So it was just the back pain that caused...
It wasn't so much back pain. It was lack of function. I was losing function. We thought I had a pinched nerve. I ended up in a hospital with a diagnosis with pinched nerve in my neck, also low back trouble from previous injury, and I was scheduled for operation and sent home for the weekend. I had a back operation scheduled for the following Tuesday, and before we hardly got settled in for the weekend, the doctor, the neurosurgeon at the hospital, called me and said he'd found a lesion at the very site of the operation and canceled the operation and had me come back in. I ended up with the MS diagnosis, which was a shock to him and everybody.
So how did you learn about LDN?
Research on the internet, looking for backup in case our economy collapsed and I wouldn't be able to afford to take Copaxone. And also I learned with that internet research that it could be used in conjunction with the Copaxone to alleviate other symptoms that medication wasn't taking care of, conventional medication. And then when I crossed that bridge here recently because I began having MS fatigue, which I hadn't had up until recently, and I couldn't afford, my insurance wouldn't cover the expensive medication that worked for that, and so I started taking it in hopes it would help that, and it did, along with a lot of other things.
And did you have problems obtaining a prescription?
None.
And who prescribed the LDN for you?
My MS specialist neurologist.
That's very good. And did you have a problem filling the prescription?
No, I live in a little rural town, and the closest town to me, regular, more like a city to me, is 20 miles away, and they have compounders that happen.
Oh, that's handy, isn't it? So how long have you been taking LDN now?
11 months. I started last March, almost a year now.
And what symptoms has LDN helped with?
I'm referring to my notes here to find my place. Like I said, I started it to help with fatigue, and it helps with it. Doesn't clear it up completely, but it helps it significantly enough that I've been able to return to work after 9 years, almost 10. It also has helped with my gait. I'm in a wheelchair, but I exercise by using the walker 8 times a day for a 30-foot walk. I'm concerned about my bone health, and I'm also concerned about protecting my transfers, so I'm diligent about doing that. But it's improved it a little bit. I'm a little stronger, a little bit better balance since I've started the LDN. I also think it's helped my bladder problems a little bit. I also do some kind of oddball exercises for that, so it's hard to delineate what all might help, but it is better. So I attribute that to to LDN is helping a little bit.
And did you notice any negative effects when you first started LDN?
Only when I tried to get up to the 4.5 milligram dose, and then I know some people get help from spasticity with it, but I actually got stiffer and had to back off to 3.5, which I've read in my research that sometimes that happens and people end up going back to 3 or 3.5. I've settled in at 3.5, and I don't have that trouble with it.
Oh, that's good. So what has your life been like since starting LDN?
Well, like I say, it's improved. With helping the fatigue, I've been able to pursue what I've been working at for a long time, get back to work. I'm self-employed, and all that's led to me being able to return to work.
And would you be continuing to take LDN?
Absolutely.
And what would you say to other people with multiple sclerosis who are contemplating trying LDN?
I'd say give it a shot. Even if you're as broke as I am, I mean, you could be more broke, but not a whole lot more broke. You can pretty much scrape and scrimp so you can afford it. It's one of the cheapest things going, even though the price is going up. I'm paying $42 a month for mine. You might not be helped with it, but your chances are good that you'll get some help with it. So I'd certainly give it a try.
Well, thank you very much, Kate.